Murdered father, junkie mother, burnt as a baby, and live in the most dangerous hood in Buenos Aires. So I'm asking you, what could you have done with this crappy end? Because Carlos Tevez succeeded to become one of the greatest forward of his generation, and maybe the most complete. Physicality, speed, ball control, finish. This goal is the perfect showcase of the kind of player he was. But the man was a sensation off the pitch too, making the headlines so many times. His childhood forged a man with principles and huge personality, hated on both sides of Manchester. Called mercenary in England, but loved in Italy and Argentina. Carlos Tevez burst into professional football with the strength of his barrio. Born at Ciudadela, he grew in Fuerte Apache. So for Carlitos, football was a way out of this dangerous life. The boy started to play in tournaments for money in Fuerte Apache, but his talent was huge and finally led him to Boca Juniors. He impressed with the legendary club. He won the Argentinian League and the Copa Libertadores 2003. And guess what? He was the best player in the competition. 5 goals including 1 in final. These performances granted him a starter place for La Copa America 2004 and the Olympic Games in Greece, where he won the gold medal and was the best scorer. It was undeniable. Tevez was on the road to glory. After that, every European club wanted the man. So naturally, he signed for MSI, Sport Investment, a company, another club. This company also purchased the Corinthians, so Tevez landed there. And in Brazil, the boy from Argentina was a beast too. The first season, he won the Brazilian league and was the best player again. But enough is enough. It was time for Europe, and we wondered which big team will land the phenomenon. And it was West Ham United.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah, it was definitely full of surprises. It was a loan, but not a loan. MSI wanted to buy West Ham. Kind of a shady business, I'm not getting into specific details. Anyway, it was at last in the big European league, but the debut was kind of chaotic. No goals, a lot of bench time, and the coach didn't like him so much. But everything changed when the new coach arrived. Tevez scored 7 goals in 10 games to finish the season. Cherry on the cake, he scored in the final game the unique goal against Manchester United to keep West Ham into Premier League. So, after 1 year, he ended up at Manchester United. Nothing compared to what we know today. Cristiano Ronaldo, Rooney, Nani, Jisung Park and co. And now, Carlos Tevez. This Man U was scary good. Skills and talent. Tevez had both, but he was so hungry on the field. He deployed so much energy on the field, pressing consistently. The Premier League was perfect for him. 2 times Premier League champion and 1 Champions League in 2 years. Impressive. Yeah, only 2 years, because Tevez wasn't happy with his playing time. Ferguson allowed more minutes to Berbatov. I told you, Tevez had a huge personality, so he said fuck off to the great Manchester United to go to Manchester City. Crime of His Majesty. From this moment, he became a mercenary and a traitor for this part of Manchester. And City paid 35 million to get him. Fergie said at the time, he's not worth that much. They are crazy. For Manchester Blue, he was the perfect star to launch the project that we all know today. He became the top scorer of Manchester City. He showed his qualities in tight spaces or from far, with strength or finesse, impeccable finishes, and magnificent goals. He even won the Golden Boot, top scorer with his old teammate. And after 1 year, he was the captain of the new contender for the Premier League. So what could have gone wrong? I told you, Tevez had a huge personality. So he said publicly that he wanted to go home in Argentina. From this moment, everything changed. He lost the armband and wasn't the starter anymore. Add to that the growing competition. Balotelli, Agüero, Nasri, Dzeko, a lot of gunpowder. But worst, he refused to sub in a Champions League match against Bayern Munich. That's a lie. The real version is that he didn't want to warm up for the 5th time. The proud Apache refused to apologize. He took the plane to go back to Argentina for several months. Big balls. But after that, the other part of Manchester hated him. But he came back. And guess what? He was a key player in the title run. He won the first Premier League title for City in 50 years, a key player in the foundation of today's Manchester City. He stayed one more year at City, with some ups and some downs. His last step in Europe was in another legendary club, Juventus. It was the confirmation that he was a top player. He scored a lot in Champions League and Serie A. But this time, no headlines. He won 2 Scudetti and got to the final of the Champions League again. So after 2 years in Italy, it was time for him to get back home. He did make a quick detour to China to get the bag, but after that, he definitely went back to Boca Juniors to end his career. Carlos Tevez was the kind of player you remember on and off the pitch. They called him mercenary, but one sure thing, he was loyal to his home.